Not all love is loud. Some of the deepest feelings hide behind the softest words and the most casual friendships. You laugh together, share stories, support each other through the highs and lows, and yet something in the way they look at you lingers just a second too long. There's a silence between the sentences, a warmth in their presence, a tenderness in how they treat you, but no words to name what it is. If someone shows these subtle signs, you're not just a friend, you're their secret love. As a psychologist, I've spent years studying the unspoken signals of romantic attachment, the kind that hides beneath friendship. And I can tell you this, when someone is silently in love, their behavior changes. Not in obvious ways, but in patterns the heart recognizes, even when the mind tries to deny them. Today, I'll walk you through the signs, not the ones you read in magazines, but the real psychological indicators that someone sees you as more than a friend, even if they've never said it out loud. If even one of these signs feels familiar, this might explain the connection you've been sensing all along. Sign 1. Their eyes hold you too long. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but in secret love, they become the confession that words can't make. When someone harbors deep feelings for you, their eyes will linger, not in an obvious or uncomfortable way, but long enough for you to notice. It's in those quiet moments, when you're speaking, laughing, or even just sitting beside them, that their gaze softens and stretches a little longer than it should. And when you catch them, they'll look away, quickly, almost like they were afraid of being caught in a truth they weren't ready to tell. This isn't just about attraction, it's about emotional presence. Psychologically, when we're in love, our brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Even from simple eye contact, it's not just a glance, it's a connection. If their eyes seem to search for you in a room, hold on to you when you speak, or quietly follow you when you're not looking, that's not just friendship, that's feeling. Sign 2. They remember the little things. In friendship, people listen, but in secret love, they remember. You mention a song you love, and a week later, they quote the lyrics. You casually say your favorite drink, and next time you meet, it's already waiting. They recall your childhood story, your bad day last month, the exact date of something important to you. These aren't big dramatic gestures, they're quiet acknowledgments, breadcrumbs of devotion you didn't know you dropped. Psychologically, this is significant. When someone is emotionally attached, their brain treats your words like precious data. It stores them without trying, a phenomenon called selective attention. Your voice becomes the background music of their inner world. They don't remember everything, just everything about you. And that's when you know you're not just part of their day, you're a place they come back to over and over again in their mind. Sign 3. Jealousy without justification. It slips out in the smallest ways. A sudden change in their tone, a quiet shift in energy when you mention someone else. You're talking about a new person at work, or a friend who's been texting you lately, and suddenly they're different. Maybe they joke it off, maybe they fall silent, maybe they ask too many questions, then act like they don't care. But you feel it, that flicker of discomfort that doesn't belong in a simple friendship. Psychologically, this is what we call reactive jealousy. It appears when someone perceives a threat to an emotional bond, even if that bond hasn't been defined, even if they have no right to feel it. When someone secretly loves you, their fear isn't just losing you, it's losing the chance to ever have you. And jealousy is their heart's defense mechanism. So if they react when others enter your world, even subtly, it's not about control, it's about pain they haven't named yet. Sign 4. They find reasons to be near you. They always seem to be around, not in an obvious way, but in a way that feels intentional. They offer to help with little things you didn't ask for. They just happen to be free when you need company. They text you at the right moments, call you for things they probably could have figured out themselves. It's not coincidence, it's closeness, disguised as convenience. Psychologically, this is driven by emotional proximity. When someone secretly loves you, they crave your presence, your voice, your energy, even your silence. It comforts them. Being near you gives them a sense of safety and quiet joy, even if they can't put it into words. Sometimes they don't even know why they're doing it. They just feel better when you're around. And so they find reasons to be near you, even if they can't find the courage to tell you why. Because in their heart, being close to you is the closest they've ever come to happiness. Sign 5. Their body language is open yet guarded. Love has a language, and the body speaks it long before the mouth ever does. You'll notice it in how they lean toward you when you talk, how their feet point in your direction, even when they say nothing, how they mirror your movements without realizing it. These are classic signs of subconscious attraction. But here's the twist. As open as they seem, there's always a moment where they pull back. Their hand lingers near yours, but never touches. They almost say something, then swallow the words. They get close, emotionally or physically, and suddenly retreat as if they've crossed an invisible line. This is the internal conflict of hidden love. Psychologically, they are torn between desire and fear. Desire to express how they feel, and fear of losing what you already have. So their body becomes the battlefield. One moment, it's open, warm, inviting. The next, it's guarded, protective, uncertain. If you've ever felt like they were about to let something slip, but then didn't, that hesitation isn't random. It's love, wrapped in fear. Sign 6. Their compliments feel deeper. They don't just say you look nice. They say you light up a room. They don't just call you smart. They say you always know how to see what others miss. Their compliments hit differently, not because they're louder, but because they're felt. They speak to your soul, not just your surface, and sometimes they compliment things you didn't even realize were noticeable, like how you make people feel, or the way you handle stress, or how you always show up for others. Psychologically, this is a sign of emotional idealization. In secret love, we don't just admire someone, we elevate them. We notice and value the smallest things because to us, they're not small at all. But because they're afraid of crossing the line, their praise stays soft, wrapped in friendship, dipped in ambiguity. Still, if you listen closely, you'll hear it. The kind of admiration that goes deeper than casual. The kind that feels like it's carrying more than just kind words. Because it is. The twist, sign 7. They're always almost saying something. There's a moment, it happens when the conversation slows, when the laughter fades, when you're both just there, present, quiet, real. And in that pause, something lingers. They look at you like they're on the edge of a sentence, like their heart has already spoken, but their lips are still deciding. They might say, "There's something I've been meaning to tell you," and then switch the topic. They might text you late at night with a vague, "I was just thinking about you," but never explain why. This is the language of almost, the silent love that dances right up to the edge, but never jumps. Psychologically, this is where fear and longing meet. It's the final stage of emotional withholding, when the desire to confess is so strong it leaks into behavior, but the fear of loss or rejection keeps it sealed behind subtle gestures. If someone is always on the verge of saying something, but never does, it's not because they don't feel it, it's because the risk feels too high. And in that struggle, you'll find the clearest sign of all. They don't just care, they're in love. Quietly, deeply, maybe even painfully. Secret love isn't weakness. It's love wrapped in fear. Fear of losing what they already cherish. Fear of changing a precious friendship. If you've seen these signs in someone close to you, or maybe even in yourself, remember this. Love, even when unspoken, is still love. It's real, it's deep, and it deserves to be understood. So tell me in the comments, have you experienced any of these signs? Or do you know someone who might be silently loving you from the shadows?